In a healthy farm system, agriculture works in harmony with the environment. The idea is that when farmers take from the land, they give back. This happens through crop rotation, manure used for fertilization, and various other methods. Industrial farming, though it is used to sustain our growing population, disregards the balance between humans and nature, and over-application of farming practices are slowly deteriorating the earth. Concentrating animal production into very intensive units has severe implications for animal welfare. Every year, millions of animals raised for food experience terrible living conditions on industrialized or factory farms. These factory farms are large, profit-driven companies which view animals as units of production rather than living creatures, and put efficiency and profits ahead of animal health and welfare.
This isn't farming, this is just mass production like an assembly line in a factory.
Human welfare is also risked for the sake of mass food production. Factory farms directly affect community health by introducing potentially hazardous substances. People living near hog farms, for example, often have increased respiratory problems, most likely due to the large quantities of ammonia emitted by these types of facilities. One recent study indicates that children attending schools located near industrial farms may be at a higher risk for asthma. As well, the amount of grain used during livestock production is enough to feed 3 billion people, 3 times the amount of those suffering from malnutrition. Harm is undoubtedly caused to the earth the physical ramifications of industrial farming.
Their bones and their internal organs can't keep up with the rapid growth. A lot of these chickens here, they can take a few steps and then they plop down.
Factory farms concentrate a large amount of animals in one location, producing great waste. On a factory farm containing 35,000 hogs, over 4 million pounds of waste are produced weekly. Smaller scale sustainable farms can use waste as fertilizer, while waste on larger scale farms are pollutants. Manure carries with it other substances that are used on industrial farms. These include antibiotics and artificial growth hormones, which contaminate waterways. Salt, a common component of manure from industrial dairies, can damage soil quality and contributes to erosion. Factory farms emit harmful gases and particles such as methane and hydrogen sulfide, which can contribute to global warming from the overuse of machinery, the mismanagement of manure, and the irresponsible feeding practices that characterize industrial farming. Runoff from factory farms kills fish, degrades aquatic habitats, and threatens drinking water supplies. Currently, the average rate of soil erosion on U.S. croplands is 7 tons per acre per year. This is a serious problem because erosion causes fertile farmlands to lose nutrients and water retention ability. One cannot ignore the economic repercussions of industrial farming. As recently as 2008, the U.S. agricultural industry consistently experienced record profits, but this agricultural boom did not create more opportunities for the average farmer. The percentage of the rural workforce employed on farms dropped by about half throughout the 1980s and 90s. As corporate farms go bigger and more centrally controlled, small farms are unable to compete and eventually disappear. Large industrial farms moving in and contract growing on smaller farms also affect non-farm local businesses. Despite the fact that industrial farms invest less in local economies than small farms, there is a claim that they increase property values and tax revenue. Undesirable and unpleasant odors coming from their facility can lead to a decline. An Iowa study showed that property values dropped approximately 10% when large confined animal feeding operations were opened upwind of those properties. Another report estimated that cattle feedlots have a large impact on local roads because of the constant transport of cattle in and out of the facility, and the funding required to maintain those roads offset any tax revenue. There are benefits to industrial farming. There's more variety in produce, less geographical limitation, and cheaper produce for all. Rather than simply dismissing wide-scale food production as a whole, we should work towards finding the right balance between farmers and the environment, reduce consumption of animal products, shopping organically and locally, and lobbying for more regulating farming practices. In conclusion, industrial farming allows for cheap and convenient food, along with a host of other problems. Food with less nutritional value, air, land, and water pollution, the widespread use of hormones, antibiotics, and other drugs, low-paying, stressful farm worker jobs, the loss of small family farms, animal stress and abuse, and eutrophication. Perhaps we are not able to prevent all harm to the planet, but at the very least, we can mitigate our own impact and take action for the good of all. By reducing factory waste, preventing climate change, and decreasing the global hunger situation, we increase the health of the planet. Because if we don't take action now, when?